Boom.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. I got these new fancy headphones with the little microphone on it.
Can you hear our rock music?
I can hear it, yeah.
I don't have my headphones today because I had everything packed and I thought, oh crap, I did not think about my headphones.
Then I can tell you that the music is a little loud.
Yeah, I'm turning
There
it
we
down to
go.
25. Is that good?
Maybe even just a little lower.
Right there?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I can hear it, but I can
Usually
hear you too.
you're in charge of the music, so it's
Oh, I know.
weird.
I'm not doing anything, just sitting here talking.
We've
This
switched.
is what
and
you did for 6.5 years.
I'm pushing all the buttons. You had way more buttons. You had like 7 screens in front of you doing this. You had to log in to 7 things. You had to give blood. You had to pee in a
The
cup at one point.
The 40-year-old mixing board.
Hey, Brad. Hey, somebody that's on Facebook that I can't see. Hey, Justin. How's it going?
So if you're watching us on the Friends and Val and Mike page, what is it you have to do so that we can see
you
who it
just
is?
have to allow StreamYard. You have to allow the app to work with StreamYard, or we can't really see who you are.
So whoever said, hey guys, we don't know who you are. There's Brad, there's Warren. Hey.
Oh, it's Warren. Hey, Warren. I haven't
Aha.
seen Warren in person for a long time. Remember, we delivered. I think everybody that's on right now, we've delivered something to.
Yeah? I don't
Yeah.
know if we ever delivered anything to Justin, but I know he came to at least one of our parties.
Yeah. Hey, Greg. Hey, Tim.
So I realized something this week. The last time I actually had a job interview, I think was 2006.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's hard, right?
I'm a little rusty. Yeah, I've had 2 Zoom job interviews, then I have an in-person job interview on Monday. And yeah, I'm finding that I'm a little bit rusty.
For me, it was more like, yes, I was afraid to go in. And one of my interviews, I interviewed with 3 different people, right? So they're
My
all
interview
there.
today was on a Zoom with 3 different people, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm in the room and I remember what I used to teach people when they do public speaking. I make sure that every once in a while I turn my head so that I'm talking to all 3 people, including them in the conversation. But then you have the interview and it's kind of like a first date, right? And then it's do you wait 3 days to call them back? Are they going to call you back in 3 days? What's the protocol? So I'm just sitting here, and I have, I had some other offers for things. But yeah, it's nerve-wracking to send a resume in and to go into an interview, because I haven't had an interview for a job in 10 years.
Yeah,
It's
the
been a
last couple jobs I've gotten have been hey, so we have this job, would you like it?
Yeah.
There hasn't really been an interview process.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if you guys know how I got on the morning show gig with Mike, but I just showed up and I was doing movie reviews, and then somebody quit and they were like, can you come a couple mornings a week and fill in till we find someone? I'm like, all right. A month later, they're like, do you just want to stay? I'm like, okay. That's how I got that job. It's the craziest thing.
Oh man. So you're off to Alaska shortly.
I am. I'm leaving in a few hours to Alaska, and I just found out that Dave needs a second layer. So if you've ever been somewhere cold like Alaska, you need a base layer, right? Which should be thin and should be not cotton. It should be silk or a synthetic mesh, so that it keeps you warm and the sweat away, but it should be thin. Then you should have a thicker layer than that. And then over that is your wind, water resistant, whatever layer. He needs an in-between layer of pants, and we have to hurry and go get that after this.
Ah, okay.
I have everything I need. So
Now, are you actually going on a dog sled?
we are. They call it mushing.
Right,
So we're
okay.
not dog sledding, we're mushing. And I forgot what they call snowmobiling. They don't call it snowmobiling, snowing or something like that.
They call them snow machines, I think.
Something like snow machining or something.
Yeah, I know they don't
And
call it
I've never
snow.
I've lived here pretty much my whole life, and I've never been on a snowmobile before.
Oh, so
and
much
he
fun.
rented one for each of us, so I don't even have to share, which I love.
Yeah, you don't want to share.
And we were he rented us the new Bronco to get because I want one of the newer Broncos, but they're on back order, and we're not getting it. They let us know earlier in the week that that there's something wrong, and we're still going to have a SUV, but I was hoping to test drive the Bronco. So
it's not going to be 12 dogs in a sled.
And we're going to go to I just booked our day pass for the hot springs that they have.
Very nice.
We're going to do a little hot springing.
Very nice. I hate how now there's this thing that I've never experienced before where the airline will just email you and say, "Hey, your flights have changed."
Yeah, and hopefully you've checked your email.
My wife and I booked a trip to Mexico at the end of May, and I purposely chose the flights so that we'd leave early on the first day and get back late on the last day, to maximize the time.
That's exactly where we're going, Greg. Thank you.
And I just got an email a few weeks ago that said, "Hey, instead of getting back at 10 p.m., you're getting back at 4 p.m. So you just took 6 hours of our vacation away from us."
Yeah.
And you have no choice. I mean, they say, "Is that okay?" But if it's not okay, you're just not going.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now we're leaving a little bit earlier, but we have a 6-hour layover in Seattle. I've only been in the Seattle airport before, so I'm pretty sure we're going to leave the airport and go look around a little bit.
Nice. Yeah, be careful, though. Make sure you get back in time.
Yeah.
Are you flying to Anchorage or Fairbanks?
I think Fairbanks.
Oh, cool.
Because that's where North Pole, Alaska is right outside of Fairbanks.
Oh, okay. So I promised poop jokes this week, and these I found some dad jokes that are poop jokes, and I don't think that any of these I could have told on the air and not gotten in trouble. So first up, let me just tell you this. Hey, Val.
Hey, Mike.
Poop jokes aren't actually my favorite, but they're a solid number 2. I actually like poop jokes, Val. I think they're the shit.
Oh, yeah?
There you go. There's a couple. I'll scatter those in. So I want to talk about what happened with Adele.
Okay.
Which is kind of weird because I honestly don't really love Adele's music. I think she's awesome. I respect her. I don't listen to Adele.
All right, so I have to ask you a question before you get into it. From Mariah Carey to Celine Dion, because Mariah Carey you like, right?
Well, but I don't listen to Mariah Carey.
Okay, from Kelly Clarkson.
I don't listen to Kelly Clarkson either.
Right, but
as far as
I know you hate Celine Dion.
I hate Celine Dion.
And I know you love Kelly Clarkson.
I do love Kelly Clarkson.
So in between there, where does she fit?
Okay, if this is Celine Dion and this is Kelly Clarkson, I'd put Adele like right here. Just a little ways from Kelly Clarkson. I have nothing against Adele. I just don't really enjoy her music. So the Brit Awards happened Tuesday night, and this is like England's version of the Grammys. And Adele gets up there, and they've started just this year doing non-gender categories. So there's not like best male performer, best female performer. Everything is just gender neutral. And she gets up, and I want to quote her exactly. She said, "I understand why the name of this award has changed, but I love being a woman and a female artist. I do. I'm really proud of us. I really, really am." Now, there are people who are now calling her a TERF, which is a phrase I've never heard before. TERF is an acronym for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist, which is ridiculous.
What? Wait, say it again.
So they are saying because she's so proud to be a woman that she is a trans exclusionary radical feminist. That she's so feminist that she hates trans people. Now, I've read the quote of what she said, and I don't get that at all. Here's the thing. Shouldn't we all be able to just be proud of who we are?
Well, that's the whole idea of pride.
Isn't that what trans people are saying, is I get to be proud of who I am?
Yeah, I think we've gotten into that before, Mike, where some people feel like if you're for one thing, you have to be against the other thing. Just because I'm a proud woman does not mean that I am against men. It does not mean I'm against children. It does not mean I hate cats. I mean, I kind of hate cats a little bit. I don't hate them. I just think they're unimportant. But I think you can be a proud woman, man, trans, whatever
you are.
I think you should be proud of what you are.
Now, if she had said, "I'm a proud woman, proud female singer, and if you're not a female, then I hate you," obviously that would be wrong.
Right.
But all she's doing is standing up and saying, "I am proud of who I am, who I identify as." I think it's ridiculous.
What do you guys think?
And
And
turf.
I
I've
think we
never heard
should
that term before.
definitely, I definitely think we should post the article on our Facebook page so people can get
Okay.
like the full thing. I need to shut off my notifications. I keep I never used to keep my phone ringer up or my notifications up, but now I do, and it's because my daughter has moved out. And
Ah,
so I would like to have my phone on so that if she needs me, I'm going to try not to cry. If she needs me, then I am here for her. So I have, for the last 72 hours, I've had all of my notifications, phone, ringer, everything up as high. I changed my ringer so it's a noise that I can actually hear. But yeah, my daughter's going to be 21 in October. She's 20. She's been with her boyfriend for a while, and she's an adult. And this last week, she said, I'm going to move out. I had to coax it out of her. She was afraid to tell me. But what I love is that Dave knew first. And what I love about that is usually in a parent relationship, mom and dad, is usually one of the kids always feels more comfortable talking to one of the parents, right? So they go talk to them and they're like, what should I do about this situation? And the fact that she feels that comfortable with Dave to talk to him about it, like, how should I tell this to mom? Like, it's going to devastate her.
right. And you go to the parent, you're less afraid of first.
Right. And for me, like, I thought that I said, were you afraid to, she's like, I just knew you were going to be upset, like sad that she was leaving home. And I said, I'm excited that you're leaving and you're growing up and all these things. The only thing that I've had her with me like forever. Like, we've been inseparable. I've tried over the past 3 years, and Mike, you've seen this, where I have let go of, like curfews, and like I've been trying to treat her as an adult and not be like freaking out all the time. I've done a lot of therapy. I have a lot of I got back into listening to 5 4 3 2 1. If you haven't read or listened to the 5-second rule, you need to do it, because if you're struggling with any fear, anxiety, like anything, it helps you get through it. Because the minute I start thinking I'm so sad she's gone, I 5 4 3 2 1, and I think about the next time I get to see her. So that, like, it helps me. But so I coaxed it out of her. Her and her boyfriend told me, and I just said, I don't want you to forget about us. That's my biggest thing, is like, you need to make sure that you spend time with us. She will be here this weekend with my dad and the dogs as we're in Alaska, but she's a good kid. He's a good kid. They're moving into his parents' house though. So it's not really moving out, but they are paying rent.
Nice.
And
of course, my daughter is just less than 2 weeks away from your daughter's birthday. And Brianna has also moved out. She's moved in with her boyfriend. She had been kind of staying there a couple nights a week. And then my wife, Joy, got COVID the last week of the year and said, why don't you go stay at your boyfriend's house while I have COVID? Well, here we are, 6 weeks later, and she hasn't come back.
Yeah, so, I feel like they don't know how to tell us.
She's kind of hedging her bets, though, because she comes over a couple times a week and gets a few things. So all of her stuff is still here. She still has her bedroom here, so she could easily move right back in if she needed to.
This Facebook user, and I'm going to show you this as an example, because if you are in our group, our Val and Mike group, and you haven't accepted the StreamYard app, it's not going to show me who you are. But this Facebook friend said, my son that is almost 27 moved out when he was 18, but he just moved out of state, and wow, I'm struggling. Yeah, that's got to be, I think it would be worse. Like people that take their kids to college right out of high school, like I didn't do that, and
But this is the normal course of things. Think about,
know.
Not everybody moves back in with their dad in their 40s. Oh, did that sting a little?
Listen.
Do we need another poop joke?
I did everything that I could. But I'm really happy that we're here. It actually worked out really well for us. And I want to thank, before the dad joke, I want to thank Lewis. He said you raised Sammy right. She'll be fine. She's gonna. It's me. Like, I know she's gonna be good.
Oh, yeah, our daughters are fine.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about poop jokes. I just hate when they're too corny or a run-on. No? Let me try another one. Hey, Val.
Hey, Mike.
What did the poop say to the fart?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
You blow me away! Why did the soldier refuse to flush the toilet?
I don't know.
It wasn't his duty.
You said duty.
Any of these would have gotten us called in for a special meeting with our boss.
And sometimes we did it on purpose. No wonder we don't have a job.
That's true.
Let's see. Brad says, we've told Natalia if she needs a place, there always will be one in our house when needed. And that's what I said to Sammy, too. I said, you will always have your room here. But I did say if you move out, when you move back in, you're moving back in as an adult. And so you will have to pay rent. But you will always have a place here. And Dave had a really good idea, because we're trying to teach her responsibility, is that anytime you move out of an apartment or something you're renting, you have to give 30 or 90 days. We said, okay, in 30 days, you need to have whatever you want to take with you out, and you can leave as much stuff as you want here, but it needs to be tidy. It needs, I need to be able to use her room as a guest room if needed. And other things that are cluttered around the house need to be in bins, labeled, and put in the garage. And if it's not, we're going to do a little walkthrough like you would do in an apartment. If there's anything that still needs to be addressed, she needs to take care of it. And then after that 30 days, if anything is left out, it belongs to me. Nice. I get to keep it.
Because you're the landlord.
Technically, no.
Yeah.
But yes.
No, okay.
I'm the mom.
There you go. That supersedes everything.
It does.
So, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, you got me hooked on this thing, because we were going to talk about it on the air every week, and now we're not on the air anymore. But we're still
going to talk about it.
I'm still hooked on the show. I gotta think. I was telling my wife Joey after this last episode this week that somebody said to Andy Cohen, when he said we're going to do a Real Housewives of Salt Lake, that somebody said, "Oh, that's going to be really dull, really boring," because Utah's very bland and kind of boring, right?
Yeah.
It is anything but that. Holy shit, this show is nuts.
So what did you get out of this last week's episode? Because I'm watching it.
I don't know. It was weird when Lisa said, "I'm richer than all of you, so I don't need this." I thought that was a weird moment.
Like what does that have to do with anything?
And by the way, you know me, I did the research, and she's not.
Yeah,
she's not. I think Mary has the most net worth.
Yeah.
And she's not on the show anymore, so.
Well, she might be. Yeah. But Mary inviting Jen to her church, and I don't know if it's because of COVID, but I'm like, I remember when Whitney went, it was like packed, right? Yeah. People are doing the things, and you can feel the energy at home, and then they show it, and there's like sad, like 7 people out there. And I have no idea what she was talking about. I am all for like a fun experience. I love learning about other people's religions. Like, I would totally go. I had no idea what she was screaming, what she was talking about. And
neither did Jen.
A lady comes up and she starts telling Mary how amazing she is, down to being a good dresser. What's happening at church?
It was very, very weird.
I thought church and like going to church was supposed to make the people that go feel inspired and to teach
this feels
them
like
about.
This is for Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Mary.
I feel like
worship.
It's just it's an every Sunday party that Mary holds for herself.
By the way, I meant to mention that Tim said you should go eat at Dick's while you're in Seattle.
Yes, I did see that, and I wrote it down on my little notepad. Okay. Anywhere else I'm supposed to go, let me know. I know that
not eat a dick, eat at Dick's.
I don't think you should tell me what to do with my life.
Oh, okay. Yeah, do whatever you want.
No, I read up on where I'm going, and they're known for like reindeer, different things made out of reindeer, which I'm not against.
We had a lot of
trying.
reindeer when we were in Alaska, and it's good.
And then, of course, salmon and their Yukon potatoes.
Our first morning in Alaska, we went out to eat, and I had like scrambled eggs and reindeer sausage.
Yeah,
And it
that's
was
what they said. Reindeer
tasty.
sausage was what it was.
And you don't have to feel bad about it because there
That
is
wasn't a poop joke.
there's no short. Oh, that was a dick joke. There's no shortage of reindeer in Alaska, so you don't have to feel bad. Like it's like eating cow. I mean, there's plenty of them.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about
man.
Kanye and how ridiculous he is?
I do, because this is the thing. Kanye, you need to shut up. Like, I know it's hard to say this, and I'm going to say it with a straight face. I am a fan of Kanye West, okay?
Yeah, you've said that many times.
I watched the first episode of, he's going to be having a documentary series, I believe on Showtime. I could be wrong about that. I'll double check. And it was at Sundance. And I really enjoyed watching it because it was a guy who decided at a young age that this kid named Kanye West was going to be a big deal. And they were from Chicago. And he said, so I'm going to quit everything I'm doing and I'm going to document Kanye's life. And he's been doing it since before Kanye was big till now. Like, he's still documenting it. So he's caught all of the embarrassing, awkward moments, all of the moments where he has just tried and kicked butt, his fails, his wins, everything. And you get to see this Kanye that I know that is in there, because if you're a fan of Kanye's music, you know he is a really good artist. He's a musician. He's a good writer. He is just creative.
He's also a little nuts.
Well, with creative people, with that creativity comes a different mindset. And I think that he lost it for a little bit, because I think it happens to a lot of people that are creative. But what's happening right now is I think he's just lost in general. You know, like, you've been there. I've been there. I was lost for a whole year, a year and a half ago. Like, you didn't even know who was going to come in the studio when I showed up to work in the morning. Is it going to be like lunatic Val? Is it going to be crying Val? Is it going to be super happy Val? Like, who's it going to be?
I'll tell you, the scariest one was super happy Val, because that felt like at any second something could snap.
Mike is afraid of my happiness, I think.
No. Just during that time when you were happy, like, everything's gonna be fine. Like, just take it down a notch.
I was trying to keep it together, but the difference between my instance and your instance and all of your instances is that we're not in public eye, right? And so I think that when you're lost because you've lost the person you love, you've lost a big family, like he lost one of the best family members in his life. He lost his grandma not too long ago. And I think that he's trying to cope and he doesn't know how. And he has the public right there. And so it's even more crazy. But what he did to poor little
Billie Eilish.
What's her name? Yeah, Billie Eilish.
Greg made a good point. Mental illness is a thing.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily a side effect of creativity. No, I
necessarily
I added.
We're
totally.
Definitely. But I definitely think creative minds also think differently. And so when you add that on to mental illness, it goes into a different place that we're not all comfortable with.
Kanye lives in a different world than the rest of us do. He's got a whole alternate universe going on.
Yeah. But so this is what happens. So Billie Eilish was just at a concert and she went on the microphone and said, you know, hey, are you in trouble? Do you need help?
To an audience member.
To an audience member, which you hear at concerts a lot. If you go to concerts that are a little rowdy, at least
by the way,
should.
There's examples of her doing that going back years. There was one time where there was somebody in the audience struggling and she gave them her water bottle. And that was way before what Kanye's upset about. Yeah,
and so Kanye thinks that she was making a dig at Travis. What's his last name?
Scott.
Travis Scott, who, if you guys remember, he threw a really big show, was really irresponsible about it a while ago, and some people got hurt, and I think a couple people died, right?
Several people died.
But this is the thing. Why would Billie Eilish need to make a dig at him for any reason?
She did say it was if somebody needed an inhaler. And so, does anybody have an inhaler? And they got one. And then Billie made the comment, at my shows, we stop and make sure everybody's okay. So I could kind of see how that could be interpreted, but she didn't say anything about Travis Scott, didn't say his
No.
name, didn't reference
And this
the
is
show.
the thing. There are a lot of shows where people don't stop it, right? Like
Sure, yeah.
Ariana Grande had a huge show that she didn't stop when there was a big incident. Like, it happens all the time. I went to my first death metal show, totally impromptu, like about a month ago. And we're just in this really small venue, and these death metal guys are up there, and there's a mosh pit going, and the guy, he's like, are you okay? Because somebody went down hard, right? And he stopped everything. He's like, is that guy okay? Is it going to be okay? And he's like, at our shows, we make sure people are okay. He said almost exactly the same thing, because he wants the audience to know they're not going to put up with any of the nonsense. So if you see somebody fall, you need to help them up, or the show's not going to continue.
Now, here's the thing. Travis Scott, Kanye West, and Billie Eilish are all headlining Coachella. And Kanye said, unless Billie apologizes to Travis, I'm not showing up to Coachella.
Good. Don't apologize, Billy.
And Billie said, I have nothing to apologize for. I didn't even say Travis's name. This is how I've conducted my concerts all along. And Greg, you're absolutely right. Billie Eilish is a sweetheart. She is so kind to her fans. There's all these videos of her fans like standing backstage, and then she sneaks up behind them, and then she hugs them, and everybody laughs and cries. I mean, she's awesome.
This is what the mentality is, though, is because usually when somebody thinks that their partner is cheating, it's because they've been cheating. Usually when someone is jealous of someone else, it's because of what's going on in their life, what they're missing. And I think Kanye is at the point where he is taking digs at other people. He is trying to grab onto anything. So he sees whatever he wants to see out there. Right. And even if Billie did mean it that way, good for her.
So what?
Because Travis Scott was totally irresponsible at that concert. And I'm a fan of Travis Scott's music. But that concert, he was irresponsible. He did not have enough security. He was not prepared for what was going to happen. I mean, you are not in charge of what your fans are going to do, but when you run shows like that, and that was like his 20th show in that type of venue, he knew what was going to go down. His people should have had it taken care of. As an event person, you need more security, you need better help. And so if she's going to call somebody out for not doing their job right, fine. I still don't think she needs to apologize.
I feel like it's time for a poop joke.
Yay, poop joke.
So Val, I ate 4 cans of alphabet soup yesterday. I probably had the biggest vowel movement I've ever had. Vowel movement.
I feel like that should be my next podcast.
Yeah? Just VAL movement?
Vowel movement.
Oh, man.
A movement that will take over the world like a virus.
Hey, you know what used to happen every Friday that hasn't happened for a couple of Fridays is What to See with Val.
Do we want to talk about some movies? Because we have some, and it's Valentine's. And there is actually a movie that I got to see this week that is free on your Amazon right now. You can go see it in the theater, or you can see it on Amazon. And I really didn't think I was going to like this movie. And let me find it, because you know how much I am really not good at names if I don't have it in front of me.
I'm anxious to find out what you thought about is it J-Lo has a new rom-com?
We're going to talk about that, but I want to talk about I Want You Back first, because Mike, I actually think you would like this, because Jenny Slate is in it, and Charlie Day is in it, and Scott Eastwood is in it.
I don't know who any of those people are.
You know who Jenny Slate is, because we have talked about her. She's a comedian. We've talked about her before, and this is a movie that I was like, okay, it's going to be this movie where there's these couples and one of them breaks up and there's going to be stupid jokes and everything. So this is what the idea is. Jenny Slate and I think they're both comedians, actually. I think also Charlie Day is a comedian, but Jenny Slate and Charlie Day's characters are both getting dumped, right? And they are both they work in the same building, coincidentally, and they're both crying in the stairwell, and they meet each other and they're like, okay, we're both getting dumped. What should we do? They decide to break up their partners from the people they're currently dating. Okay. So the whole movie is around them breaking their other partners up so that they will go back to them. And of course, you know, what do you think happens?
They end up falling in love.
Right. So
of course they end up falling in love.
Yeah, so this is my review when I had to walk out and tell, is that it was surprisingly adorable. Like, it was surprisingly just really fun. And relatable. There was a lot of relatable things if you've ever been broken up with in a relationship. There was a lot of relatable, but it was also predictable and it was also kind of silly. And I'm okay with it. Like,
That's
it was a
fine.
movie
Yeah.
I just sat down and watched. I really like these two characters, and I like that they picked two leading characters that are kind of weird and kind of awkward and kind of, but good looking in their own way, but not traditionally good looking, you know? So I
Yeah.
gave that one a B, like a solid B for that. And again, if you stream Amazon, you can watch it. And it is a fun kind of Valentine's movie. Maybe if you don't have a person to watch it with some friends because it's just fun. The J-Lo movie, I was dreading. It's called Marry Me on Rotten Tomatoes right now. It has a 57%.
It looks awful.
And this is the thing. If you like the 1990s like rom-coms, anything that happened from 90 to 99 rom-coms,
Meg Ryan movies,
even into 2021 or 2001, you will like this.
Like Meg Ryan kind of rom-coms.
Yes. Or like she was in a movie where she was a maid. Remember that movie?
Yes.
Okay, it's kind of the same feel because you know what's going to happen. You've got these two characters that don't belong together at all. So she plays a singer, an artist, and she is supposed to get married in front of a stadium of people to the love of her life. And she finds out something, it doesn't happen, and she ends up kind of losing it in front of everyone and just going with it and saying, what am I going to do right now? I'm in front of all these people. They all know what's happening because the news is on their phone. I'm not going to tell you what it is. And she sees Owen Wilson, random actor to pick for this movie, right? And he's holding a song that says Marry Me because everybody at the concert has these signs because the hit song is called Marry Me. She's supposed to get married. She looks at him and she said, you know what? Yes, I will marry you. Pulls him up out of the audience. He's never heard of this lady. He's there just trying to be a cool dad because his teenager's at that age where she doesn't want to have anything to do with him, right? Sarah Silverman is his co-pilot in this movie, his best friend. She's hilarious. Wears a beanie the whole time. I don't know why, but it's cute. And you know what? It was enjoyable. There was a few times that I teared up a little bit. It's not going to win any awards, but I thought it was super fun. But I think it's more of I'm going to go watch this with my girls. If you make your boyfriends or your husbands watch this and they're not into rom-coms, you're kind of mean. Like it is, like Mike, I think you would like What I Want You Back, but I think you would hate Marry Me. Whereas I enjoyed both of them, but they're two totally different rom-coms. Okay. So I gave that one a B-.
There's a movie that I've seen the trailer for a couple of times that looks awful, and you know how much I love Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Seeing the trailer for her next movie makes me feel bad that she had to do the movie. Do you know what movie I'm talking about? She has a couple.
What movie are you talking about?
Like The Rock, I think, is in it.
Oh, yeah.
And in the trailer, like there's a little car sitting on the cliff, and she opens the door and it falls off the cliff, and it's just it's that fall down humor that just drives me crazy, and I feel bad that she had to do this movie.
But if you haven't seen the movie that she did on Netflix that came out a couple of months ago, where she plays a person that just got out of prison and is trying to rebuild her life.
I wasn't aware of this.
Yeah, if you want to look that up really quick, because I have a couple screens open. I don't remember what it's called, but I believe it's on Netflix. Just go look up Sandra Bullock new movies. But I do want to talk about Death on the Nile, because that also opens today. It's rated PG-13. Kenneth Branagh directed it, and he's also the main character in it. You also have Gal Gadot, Annette Bening, Armie Hammer, and let's see, Russell Brand. So, Mike, this is the first movie that Russell Brand is in that he does actual acting. He melts and disappears into this character. What?
I thought Armie Hammer was banned from movies because he was eating people.
So this is the thing. They tried to
Did he make this before that?
No. Well, the movie was made, and as they were finishing up editing, that's when all this came out. So they tried to recast and do like the face over the face like they did with that other character in anyway. But they didn't do it. And so what is so weird about it is I'm watching the movie, and at the end of the movie, the credits come down and his character doesn't say his name next to it. It says it on IMDb. It says it right here in Rotten Tomatoes. It doesn't say his name in the credits of the movie. And I'm like, that is so weird. So I've been Googling it ever since. And I'm like, I probably have to wait until the movie comes out publicly before I can say it. But so this is the thing. Kenneth Branagh is a detective in this movie, and it is a beautiful movie to watch. Like, it makes you want to drop what you're doing, go to Egypt. It's shot like old Hollywood. I almost think he spent so much time on cinematography and landscape shots that he maybe didn't spend a ton of time with some of the acting. But I have to say, I really enjoyed him in the movie. I didn't enjoy Gal Gadot very much, but I think it's because she plays a kind of an unlikable character. But it's also just not a stretch for her. I've seen her do better. But I love Annette Bening. The story is intriguing. Basically, it's like Clue and like, what is that Murder on the Train movie where they're all on the train and people get murdered? Remember that?
Murder on the Orient Express?
Yeah, it's like if that and Clue got together, but now you're on a boat on the Nile.
Well, I think that Murder on the Orient Express and the Nile, those are both Agatha Christie books.
Yeah, so it's very similar, but you also have a little bit of hokiness from Clue. Not a ton, but a little bit. But it's, again, you can't take your eyes off it because it is shot beautifully. But I do think he's a little overindulgent. The movie could have been a lot shorter, but it was definitely intriguing. And I wouldn't say any of these movies you should run out to the theater to watch. But I definitely think all three of the movies would be really fun at home. That one I also give a B- too.
All right, here's your Sandra Bullock information. The movie you're talking about is called The Unforgivable.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The one I'm talking about is called The Lost City, and it opens at the end of March, and it stars Channing Tatum, Brad Pitt, Sandra Bullock. Yeah. I mean, that should be a blockbuster. It looks so horrible to me.
What I love, though, is in the trailer, that scene of Brad Pitt, like, running with him, and his hair's just, like, flowing in the wind, and even at freaking, how old is he? Like, 55, 60? He's still hot.
Yeah, he's a really old man. Like my age.
He's not a really old man. I'm just saying he's an older... I actually think he got better with age, but...
Oh, I do too, yeah. I have one more poop joke if you want to hear it.
Yeah, of course I do.
Did you hear about the constipated composer?
No.
He had problems with his last movement. Why did Spock look into Kirk's toilet?
Brad I don't know.
That's what Brad is telling us.
I don't know, Brad.
He wanted to see the captain's log.
The captain's log. That was nerdy and punny. I love it. So we're probably going to be in the future keeping these to about 30 minutes. Last time we went an hour. And then when I get back, we'll be doing, I think we thought 3:30 was a good time, right?
Whatever
it will
works
all
for
depend
you.
on if we have full-time jobs.
Right.
At any point, we'll probably have to change it, the time or even the day of it. But if you guys are enjoying yourself, the one last thing I want to touch on before we get off and I head to Alaska is, Mike, you did something yesterday that I think should be more of a normal thing. And you have a good friend, Aaron, and Aaron's lovely. Well, that too. I love it when you watch the movies. And next time I actually want you to do a What to See with Val about the Tinder Swindler. Will you do that with me?
Yes. If you have a chance, watch the Tinder Swindler on Netflix. If it was a fictional movie, you'd say there's no way that could have really happened. But it's true. It's a documentary.
We're going to do that on my What to See with Val page.
Okay.
So I will click the link here because we just want to talk about that and nothing else. But Mike, you did something that I think should be more normalized. But you and your friend Aaron, you've been friends for a long time. And yesterday, for everyone's eyes to see, you said, "Happy birthday. I love you."
Yeah, it's It's been later in life that I've been doing this, and I met Aaron when he was 19, and he just turned, I think, 54. So yeah, we've known each other for a while. I have two male friends that I always, like at the end of a phone call or whatever, will say, "All right, I love you." And at first, it was kind of awkward, and I'd have to say the man after it, which would make it okay. I love you, man. That makes it
Yeah.
kind of tough. But these two guys are important in my life. They're two of my very best friends. So why would I not tell them that I love them? Because I do.
I love it. I love it. I have some friends in my life now that, yeah, when we get off the phone with each other, it's like, I love you, and I think that especially with men, like I think women maybe, and this is a generalization, I don't know, we don't see it as such a big deal, but I think
Sure.
with men telling friends, especially in public, that you love them or showing affection has been kind of, something for a very specific generation that it's not okay. And it made me happy. Like
Oh,
I
good.
saw it and I was like, oh, I love that. So I wanted to know if you guys tell your friends that you love them. And if not, we should make it a more normalized thing. We will be back next week, hopefully Friday, hopefully. Some people said they liked 1:30, so we'll kind of see what's best. I liked 3:30, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
What's
Brad
going
has
on.
another joke though. What do
Oh,
toilet
yeah.
paper? What do toilet paper and the Starship Enterprise have in common?
I don't know.
They both boldly go where no man has gone before. They both fly around Uranus to wipe out Klingons.
Oh my God.
Slow clap for that one. Slow clap.
On that note, we are out. You guys have a good weekend. I will be posting the crap out of everything I'm doing in Alaska. We'll talk about it next week, and then stay tuned also next week when I do a What to See with Val with Mike for the first time on
Where
my
I
other
get to review a
podcast, and
movie?
we're going to talk just about movies. Yeah,
Oh,
we're
you
going to talk.
mean-
We're going to deep dive into it.
You mean I'm going to be on your other podcast? I didn't understand
Yes.
what you're saying.
Where we talk
Okay.
only about the movie.
Let me talk to my agent and see if that's okay.
I'll have my people get with your people.
Wait, I don't have an agent. Oh yeah, I do. Her name's Joy.
Okay,
All
bye
right.
guys.